Hey guys, we're here, the final stop of the year for the MLF Big 5 tournament, St. Lawrence River, the one and only Miles Berghoff. He's got brand new shoes on. That's how important this event is. We are both sitting right around the championship cutoff line. He's barely in.
I'm 45th. He's out.
He's barely in. I'm 1 point out, sitting in 51st place. It's been a pretty subpar year for both of us. We have the chance to really make a big impact and move up inside the championship or stay inside the championship. And that's why Miles has new shoes.
All right.
Show him your shoes. Can
Whoa.
you get that up here? All right.
That's the best I could do.
So what's practice been like?
It was great until I just pulled something in my leg.
That's the plan.
But no, practice was terrible, actually. It was not very good at all. I mean, every practice tells you something and helps you whittle it down, even if you don't catch anything. But I was really expecting to come here to St. Lawrence and just go for smallmouth, not focus on largemouth at all. And the smallmouth have just not been playing nice. I mean, they're fishing really tough, so it's like if you don't have a lot of experience, which I do not have experience with smallmouth on the Great Lakes, it can be really, really tough. And I just didn't figure them out. Like, I can't catch them consistently. So honestly, I'm probably going to fish for largemouth.
Well, based on the largemouth that live here, that's not a terrible approach.
We'll
it's
find
not
out.
a winning approach,
Right.
but I think to do what you need to do to make the championship, it's probably an okay approach.
Gosh, I hope so. Because I feel like I'm doing something that's kind of a losing proposition to like attain that goal of making the title. But really, it's the best I've got. I mean, because the average size that I'm catching is better than the average size I'm catching with smallmouth, and I'm just really struggling and scratching my head to catch, anything over 3 pounds with smallmouth.
Well, I mean, I was here 2 weeks ago before it went off limits, and the weights then were so much better than what I've seen so far. In a couple of days of practice, each of those days we would have had easily low 20-pound weights into the one day probably 23 plus pounds. And
Right.
I have not seen that since we've been back. I don't quite understand what's going on, because I feel like you're doing roughly the same thing. You should be catching those 3+ pound class fish,
Right.
and all of a sudden it seems like a lot of those fish are 2-pounders. So I feel like I should be making a run to closer to Lake Ontario, where I feel like there's better fish. But I think I'm gonna stay close. I've got a short day. I'm about 21, and I feel like if I can capitalize staying close, then that gives me a better shot day 2 with
Right.
2 extra hours of fishing.
Yeah, and I'm making the long run. I'm running far. I have to fill up gas as soon as I get there, and so I'm making a long run for a thing that I'm already apprehensive about doing, because I feel like it's like giving up a little bit. But plenty of people have done well with largemouth out here in the past. There's been every single tournament somebody does well with it. So I'm hoping that I'm one of those somebodies. But it's not like I had a spectacular practice with largemouth. It's just that the very limited amount of time I went for largemouth, I was able to get bit. So
Well, I mean, we know from previous tournaments here that plenty of guys can make money, can have good tournaments doing it. I don't think you're going to win, but I mean, after practice, you have to juggle what you had, right?
Right.
So, if you after practice, you normally know whether you're fishing to win or not.
Right.
And in this case, if you didn't find the smallmouth to win, if the largemouth is your best bet, I don't think it's crazy by any means, because right now the smallmouth fishing, I think, is significantly tougher than 2+ weeks ago, and when the Elite Series was here. Like, I originally thought we were going to need 18 pounds a day to be in the top 50. I think now we're looking at 17 pounds a day, which I know isn't a big change, but it really is.
I don't think it's going to take 17 a day to get the top 50. I don't personally. I think it's going to take 16 and a half. I know that it sounds like we're splitting hairs, but 16 and a half, there's a big difference out here. That half pound is a really big difference.
Especially when you're talking about a body of water where there are times it takes like 19 pounds,
Right.
close to 20-pound bags.
Like if you have
to
18
catch a
pounds,
trout.
you're nowhere near the top half.
I do think that right now we're in between.
We got
I don't know if it's a pressure thing.
It's post.
Or
I
it's
think
post-spawn.
it's a combination of being post spawn, and they've already had 2 professional trails up here fishing for these fish, and they
in the
they
past
ravaged
month,
them.
basically.
They ravaged them pretty hard. And then after those tournaments, you have people that come up to fun fish because they see all the great fishing, and then we're kind of here with the scraps, which is fine.
And that-
That's one of the challenges of tournament fishing, and I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit disappointing to come here and not be able to just go rail on some smallmouth
Dude,
all day.
it was a lot disappointing to be here the week before the Elite Series was here and see the true potential of this place. And now to be back scratching my head going,
Yeah.
where are those 3-pound bites? I mean, they're like, I can still get a good number of bites, but they're all 2-pound fish, which
Right.
for this place is like, you might as well not even put them in your live well.
Yeah. But I will say this before we get like too bogged down in like the negative of the fact that the fishing's kind of tough. Like, it is gorgeous here, and like Messina, I've never been to a town that's more excited to have a tournament trail in their town. So we've been very welcomed, and that's been awesome. Like, I really enjoy it up here, which is so I can't wait to come back. Especially when it's like on.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we come to the North Country, I think
The North Country.
the fishing is better, the weather is better. There's just something unique about being in the Northwoods versus sweating your butt off down south all day. And it's nice to end the year here. Hopefully, we can both have a good tournament and squeak inside the championship cutoff line.
Yeah.
And get to go fish the Mississippi River for the championship.
I dig that. Well, before we lose light, you can see Mark's getting closer to us because we're losing light. Check out Battleborn Batteries. Battleborn is who sponsors these post tournament recaps or post practice recaps, and so check them out, and also follow both Matt and myself on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and also make sure that you follow all the action on MajorLeagueFishing.com. So it's going to be a fun week, regardless. I'm making a long run. He's making a short run. He's a homebody, but
Neither of us know how this is going to end up.
we have no idea how this is going to go. But anyways, thank you guys for all the support throughout the year, and let's get going.
Stay tuned.